Check, check, 1 2 1 2. Coming through. It's the early hours. It's drive time. It's Drivecast. It's just after 6. And it's dark. All throughout the universe, it seems. It's dark. We will see what the day brings as the day starts. Monday, day of the moon, day of new beginnings. It's ridiculously warm for this time of the morning. It's about 9 degrees. That makes no sense. Trying to be careful as I drive down the forest road, rock in the middle of the road, okay. There were 2 deer here the other morning, and I hit one of them. Not recommended. Absolutely not recommended. Yep. So it's interesting that what is in the mind in the morning shapes the day. The road is busy this morning. You know, people say that you should do some meditation to have a very conscious mindset in the morning. I like that idea, but I would just fall asleep again. So I don't see how that's in any way practical. In any way at all. So this is a review session this morning for the members of my online business accountability group. But I'm going to discuss things that could be useful, helpful and practical to anyone in general, I think. So we had this meeting last week, and we call it our all actions and all results 60 minutes of success, where we discuss everything that we have done, everything we are doing, and everything that we are going to do. Our success and our struggles. Avoiding the F word there. So Johnny had something interesting to say. Oh, by the way, there's 3 of us. There's me, G, that's me. There's Johnny Costa, who is what does he do? He's a financial analyst, advisor, investor, champion for the small guy. And there's Rudy Martinez, who runs his own fitness gym, where he specializes in the health and well-being in a holistic sense for his clients. So Johnny began with a clearing statement, or by introducing the concept of a clearing statement. And a clearing statement is recognizing as well as possible the absolute truth at the beginning of any situation, conversation that you find yourself in. It's not something that you have to verbalize, although you can verbalize it. I've talked before about the power of bringing into being that which is in the mind. And so the clearing statement is to get the negativity out of the way, to recognize that there is very often what I would call a dark part of the mind, which is within our heads. And by taking control of that knowledge, you reduce the power that it has within what it is that we're doing. So rather than have this negativity lurking under the surface, you try to acknowledge it and get it out of the way so that you can move on to more important things. I think Johnny described it as getting the anger out of the way. I think a lot of people are angry on the inside, and they don't really show it that much on the outside. Like all those people doing yoga. What are they trying to control? Why are they trying to control it? Are those searching for peace and love are already living within another state of mind? As I go down the road, in front of me are 3 of the smallest cars I have ever seen. Heaven forbid there should be an animal on the road or something or anything. Heaven forbid the wind should blow strong. You imagine them being picked up like a kite and sucked off into the sky. Yep, who needs the adrenaline rush of bungee jumping when you can drive to work in the morning from Brezno to Bistrica? So it's interesting that Johnny suggested getting the anger out of the way. I wonder what kind of anger he's carrying inside of him. I really do wonder. I guess that's the kind of place where we don't really want to go there. You know, they call these little cars smart cars. They're about as smart as keeping your chocolate above the fireplace. They're also causing the cars to stack up on the road here. No need to slow down, guys, because you're already traveling as slow as is physically possible on this road. So Rudy talked about using some resources set up by Bedros. I think that's Bedros Koulian, I think his name is. I've probably butchered that name. He's a fitness guru who has built systems on a very large scale. Success leaves clues. So why not use those clues to build your own business? Why not give yourself the advantage? This car appears to be going slower and slower. See, that's why these cars shouldn't be allowed on the road. Should be doing 100 to 110 down this piece of road. This car is doing 70. And it's causing all the cars behind me to freak out. And I want to talk, but I keep having to look in my mirror to find out which cars are doing what on which sides of the road behind me. Spend as much time looking back as I do looking forward. Right, just broken the world land speed record for this car. Which has pretty good acceleration for an automatic, even if there is the odd occasion where I put my foot down and nothing happens, which also is not that good. Anyway, other notes I have: Facebook wants content providers. Any platform on the internet wants content providers, because a platform is just a platform. If you can bring in members and the members then provide their own content, then you've got it set, right? That's it. All you need to do is sustain the platform. Maybe sell some advertising and some data, and everything else takes care of itself. I mean, imagine you had a shop where the customers brought their own products, exchanged them with each other, and then went home. It's interesting how the digital data system works. Once again, I am reminded we live in the information age. Good morning, Mr. Policeman. Once again, it's travel ultra slow time. I shared some information about using the Headspace meditation application. But it's not working, not because the application is not working. Not because the application is not good, it's very nice. But as I explained earlier, if I try to meditate for the first 10 minutes of my day, I just go back to sleep. What is the point? I always feel that emotional control requires motion. There has to be some kind of movement involved. It's now 6:30 in the morning, it's 10 degrees outside. It's the middle of October, it's just weird. So, I mentioned that Facebook wants people who provide content, and as a result it will try to push its own content created on its platform above content created on other platforms. So what does that mean in terms of technology? That means that it would be better to make a video on Facebook than post a link to a video on YouTube. Although the great thing about YouTube is that, like all Google systems, it allows you to catalog and categorize data and information. And you can't underestimate the power of that. And you shouldn't underestimate the power of that. Of course, it's not cataloging and categorizing for you, it's doing it for itself, but you get a great benefit from that. You get the information and the statistics, the ability to take steps back and observe things. The other thing that Facebook is doing at the moment is it's focusing on ensuring that the content on Facebook is positive. Um, I'm not entirely sure this is a good thing, but I see the point. First of all, a lot of human beings have inherently negative outlooks on the world. You know, as many people are going to set up a page saying, hate somebody, as set up a page saying, I love somebody. And I guess what I would call first blood, which is initial reactions. First blood is so commonly negative, it's unreal. It's not just a Facebook thing, it's a life thing. Where when you suggest something new to people, they very often reject it. For the simple reason that it's new. No other logic there. It's just, it's new, therefore it's different, therefore I don't know it, I don't need it, I don't understand it, I don't want it. Get it out of my life. Which is odd. Because in some areas of our life we're defined by what is new, what we are attracted to, what we choose to bring into our world. Just another example of the contradictions that exist. So what else did we talk about? We talked about qualifications and certification, what I would call professional development or further training. About keeping your finger on the pulse of what is happening in your workspace, in your market, in your sphere of influence. Which I guess for me would be teaching and coaching. Which for Johnny would be investment in financial strategies. And for Rudy, it would be the latest developments in health and fitness, which I can't imagine would be that radical, although every industry has its trends and fashions, and you need to mix up your routines. Whoa! Sudden change of direction there. Monday morning is when you have to be hyper aware of what the other drivers are doing on the roads, because they're half asleep, caught in the difference between the weekend leisure activities and the structuralization of the week. Once again, you have to admire the grand scheme of things and the great planning that has gone into building this system that we live within. Something else that we talked about was understanding what people want. Now, wants can be manipulated because they're emotional. So it's also important to understand what people need, which is a much deeper drive. I mean, people often choose what they want over what they need, which is not logical. Or it is logical if you're an emotional character. It's just not practical. You know, I might be hungry, so I might need to eat some fruit or some fresh vegetables or something, but I might want to have something with sugar in it, because sugar is addictive and makes me feel better, picks me up. More addictive than cocaine, apparently. And the reason why dentists make lots of money. So, one way of keeping your finger on the pulse of what the what the wants and needs of the customers are is to understand your own wants and needs, your own abilities, to ask your clients, to communicate with them, to survey them on a regular basis, and to also imagine that if you were your own customer, how would you feel? You can map this over other perspectives, like if you were your or if your friends were your customers, how would they feel? Or your family, you can sort of ask them. You can expand that. Try to put yourself in the position of your customer. There's always a way to make something better. There's always a way to make everything better. Doesn't matter how good it is now. There's a way to make it better. Always. Always, with everything. Even if you think what you've done is fantastic, it still can be better. There's always space. It's one of the little things about life. And those were the key points that we covered in our meeting. A lot of stuff that I think that's on our minds that we don't get out during the meeting. I imagine that we could almost have a meeting every day and not get everything out. Other things I wanted to discuss were, where are the teachers and why teachers are not good learners a lot of the time. And we covered it a little bit in the second part of the meeting, but not as deeply as I wanted to. And also, I wanted to reflect back to ideas of giving and giftology. So those are my meandering reflections of our meeting. It's good to reflect back, it's good to remember, it's good to review, because it helps you make the correction to keep things going in the right direction. Duty done.